everyone. It's Wednesday, and that means we're talking about wellness in the workplace. I'm joined by Alyssa again. Hi, Alyssa. Nice to see you again.
Hello, Linda.
Hello. And today we are talking about how do you stay motivated and energized and positive in the workplace, whether you work for somebody else or whether you work for yourself, when times are stressful. And there will always be things that come up that are stressful and that try to pull us away from what we really want to do. So, how do you stop that really pulling you into a downward spiral? And how do you maintain that positivity, that motivation in times like that? So, Alyssa, let me invite you first of all to share your thoughts. Oh, I switched my phone sound off because I forgot to do it. Okay.
Yes, it's a very interesting question and something that for me in the past was not easy, especially when I faced a lot of physical symptoms related to anxiety. I always thought that if I could find a magic pill, if I could find the magic method to just not suffer anymore, it would be ideal. And I was always looking for this. And by doing that, I realized that I wasn't really making progress because I was just focused on a quick solution. So I think to maintain focus, to maintain motivation, first of all, I think the journey starts by having compassion towards ourselves and strengthening that muscle of self love. I know it may sound kind of like strange, but I think by giving us permission to navigate the process and to start trusting what serves and what doesn't serve, it's one of the first steps, like being aware of learning how to be aware of what's happening, of how we can better navigate this. And little by little, like even if it's just one small step, I think it's part of being consistent. Even if one day we don't feel right and we're so tired and we just give up and or we are not able to continue, it's okay. I think giving us that grace and reflect on that and again gain that strength to go back and keep working on it, it really has a lot to do with the whole process. And again, it's not like growth, it's not a straight line. It can go many ways. So to accept this, and when I say accept it, it's not like just like, oh, it is what it is and I just have to accept it. No, in acceptance, like, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and I'm working towards this. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I would recommend sharing from my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, no, I think that those are really important points. One thing that I would add is I think we have to stay connected to, we have to have something in our life that is meaningful and that is, that really energizes us and motivates us. Now, that might be your job and it might not be. And it doesn't matter if it's not your job. So if you love your job and you love what you do, it's important even during those times when you know things are happening and it's making you perhaps doubt yourself or you're not as motivated, to reconnect with what you're doing and why you're doing it, that sense of purpose and fulfillment. That's the reason why you do what you do. And if it's not the work that you do, if that's not the most fulfilling thing in your life, the most energizing thing, perhaps you're just, you have to go to work to earn money to, pay your rent and to live, then you need to have something in your life that provides that for you. That's a sense of joy and fulfillment. And for some people, I know it's writing. Some people love to write, and if that's the case, then you make sure you do some of that every day. I know someone who, for her, it's dance, and someone else it's music. Someone else, it could be, animals, volunteering or something like that. So maybe the job is a way of funding this other thing that you love to do so much. But whatever it is, you need to have something in your life that gives you that sense of fulfillment and joy so that you stay connected to that. And I think whenever there's something pulling you away or trying to threaten your stability, if you like, in that sense of maintaining positivity, you reconnect to that and perhaps need that even more in your life. The other thing I would add is when there is a stressful situation that comes up and that feels overwhelming, frustrating, whatever it is, I like to look at that and ask myself, what is it I need to learn from this? Because things happen in our life for a reason. I truly believe that. And when something happens that you don't know what's going on, the faster you learn what it is you need to learn from it, the faster you will move on from that situation and you won't need it in your life anymore. And I have found this to be true time and time again. So much so that now, as soon as something like that happens, that's the question I ask myself: what do I need to learn from this? Because I know the sooner I get into that space of openness and being willing to learn what it is I haven't been seeing before or what it's trying to teach me, the sooner I'm going to move on and I won't need this situation anymore. So there's a couple of thoughts from me.
Yes, that's very true. So the pattern doesn't repeat. You learn your lesson right now, otherwise it's going to repeat. That happened to me. I thought that by changing my job, I was getting to something better, and I was just not washing my hands, but pretty much like, okay, it's I'm just getting rid of this. But the funny thing is that it repeated. And not until I stopped and really took a closer look, then I was aware, okay, this is a pattern. It's not only about the job, it's about me too, and something that needs to change in me.
Yes,
So
absolutely. I can remember working with a client, and had been so overwhelmed and frustrated in his job, and he was offered another job, and it sounded ideal. This was going to solve all his problems and it was going to be so much better. And so he went to this new job, and within a month things were just as bad as they were in the previous job. And he finally said to me, he said, I just realized it's not the job, is it? It's me. I said, yeah,
yes,
that's it. It's until you learn what it is you need to know about yourself, you will continue to attract these situations no matter where you go. There's a book, the author is Jon Kabat-Zinn, and the name of the book is Wherever You Go, There You Are. And that's the same thing. I mean, you can run away, you can go to a different job, you can do something completely different, but unless you've addressed whatever it is within you that's
right.
creating these experiences, that's why there is something there for you in this experience. The sooner you find that out, the sooner you can let go of the experience.
Right. It's like those situations are our teachers. Same with people. We may be in a situation where there is somebody, we were talking about toxic workplaces last week, and it's still, I mean, you can have the best motivation, you can have the best commitment, but there is this one person that doesn't allow you to. And so again, it's like, maybe ask yourself the question, what does this person doing here in my life right now? And is it trying to teach me something? What can I learn from this situation?
Well, and this is true, whether you work for somebody else or whether you work for yourself. I'll share another quick example of someone I worked with who had her own business, and there was a pattern that emerged. And so she would be doing really well in her business. Her business would be starting to grow. Things would be going very well. And then there would be some kind of family crisis. And then she was the one everyone in her family turned to resolve these issues. And so she would then have to just stop everything she was doing, go and help the family, sort out the family issues. And then when she would come back to her business, it was like starting again, and again, she would get that momentum, and business would start going really well. And then there'd be another family crisis. And so, as we looked at that and she asked herself what it was she needed to learn, it became very clear that she needed to learn, one, how to set boundaries, two, how to be there for her family without abandoning everything that was important to her, right? So she could still be there to support them, but she didn't have to be the one to go and fix everything, which is more empowering for them as well, right?
Right.
It's a breaking of that pattern. And so those were the kinds of things that that came out of this experience. And once she really got that and then started setting the boundaries, then the pattern just stopped. And she was able to devote herself to her business and continue to grow that while still being there to support her family in any way that she could, but without denying her own needs and abandoning what was important to her. So, that's why I think asking yourself this question is so important. And that, that helps you, that's empowering. It's a lot more empowering to ask that question: what is it I need to learn from this situation? Than it is to say, oh my goodness, this is happening to me, and I don't feel motivated. I feel, I don't feel great. It's like that something is happening to you. Whereas when you ask the question, what do I need to learn from this? You're acknowledging that this is in my life for a reason. There's something I need to know. And that is so much more empowering. And I think our motivation goes, our positivity goes when we don't feel empowered anymore.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
It's such a great awareness too, and it's also about perspective, how you see things, and again, not becoming the victim. And like you were saying, it's happening to me, but okay, what is this situation teaching me? How can I take this and look at it, reframe it?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, oh, everything is going to be happy and you're going to just repeat affirmations and just like push it away. No, it's not about that. But there's always another side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes when we are in a negative loop or in like maybe lower energy, we tend to exaggerate or to blame. And again, it's important to take a step back and regulate ourselves, because that comes also with accessing a higher energy, a better place where we can really connect and think more clearly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from that place, ask, okay, what's my why behind all of this? How
Yeah.
can I keep consistency? And life is always going to happen. I mean, let me tell you, last week happened to me in a big
Yes.
way.
Yes, it did.
My son
Mm-hmm.
was sick, he was at the hospital, and my business continued. But what I did was, okay, Elisa, you can't be doing everything at once. I think, yes, family is priority, but still, I had to postpone other things. I had to rearrange things. But at the end of the week on Friday, I said to myself, okay, you deserve some grace and you need to take some rest because
Mm.
it's been rough. And yes, did I miss things that I do on a regular basis? Of course. Did I beat myself up because of this? No. In the past, yes. So these are things that I've learned along the way. I'm not perfect. And yes, I feel tired sometimes and I feel like sometimes I want to give up. But then I connect with, okay, what am I here? What's my service? What is it
Yeah.
that I want to do? What is the impact that I want to create? And sometimes you don't see it in your business. Sometimes your clients don't show up or things happen. But again, I remember the stories and the happy things that have happened along the way. So I keep myself motivated.
Mm. That's you brought up a really important point, and that is, sometimes something will happen or can happen in your life, like your son getting sick. That's not something you can put on hold and say, "Oh, no, I don't have time." I've got a tickle in my throat. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's not something you can put on hold. You have to go and take care of that. I think the challenge comes when we expect ourselves to, if you had expected yourself to do that, to go and take care of him, but also continue the same level of what you were doing in your business, you can't.
Okay.
That has to stop for now. And like you said, give yourself the grace, be kind enough to yourself to know this is what has to happen now. This is my priority. And then when you've got through that, then you can return to your business. So yes,
Right.
that's a really important point.
Yes.
Well, I think we might be out of time again. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your sharing your thoughts, Alyssa. Again, any of these topics are much bigger topics, obviously, and we could talk about them for much longer. But we just want to give you some thoughts, some things to think about, something that you might be able to take and start to apply right away. Next week is something that's coming up. We're going to have a discussion about managing your emotions at work. And I would say the more sensitive and empathic you are, the more important this is, and the more it can be a challenge. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. And yes, that'll be a good one. All right. So thank you so much, Alyssa. Thank you to anyone who is watching this. And just let us know if you have a topic you would like us to talk about, and send us any feedback. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you again, Alyssa. And
thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone.
Next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.